very clear and apparent. The owners let it be known. We're not doing that $10.5 million cap thing y'all was talking about. Any offer y'all sent with those last two offers, y'all shouldn't have brought it in this meeting. We're not doing a $10.5 million salary cap. We're not doing a 30% revenue sharing. You wasted your time getting on a plane if that's what you showed.
The air in the Manhattan conference room, high above the relentless energy of New York City, was not just cool, it was frigid. The kind of cold that has little to do with climate control and everything to do with the final, unequivocal slamming of a door. For 3 hours on that pivotal Monday, representatives of the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, and its Players Association, WNBPA, sat across from one another, a gulf of billions of dollars and fundamentally opposed visions yawning between them. This was the meeting the players had fought for, demanded for weeks, a chance to bypass league
via Alexa Philippou. The WNBA and WNBPA met in New York City for about 3 hours today. The player delegation included Nneka Ogwumike, Alicia Clark, Brianna Turner, and Stephanie Dolson. Nafisa Collier and Kelsey Plum had travel issues and didn't make it to New York. Ogwumike and company declined to comment on the PA's way out.
Leadership and negotiate directly with the source of power, the team owners themselves. They had asked for this table, they had gotten it. And now, as the final words of the ownership group hung in the silent, stunned air, it became devastatingly clear. The strategy had catastrophically backfired. The message from ownership was not merely a rejection, it was an eradication, delivered with a clarity that bordered on brutality. We're not doing that $10.5 million salary cap thing y'all was talking about. Any offer y'all sent with those last two offers shouldn't have brought it in this meeting. We're not doing a $10.5 million salary cap. We're not doing 30% revenue sharing. You wasted your time getting on a plane if that's what you showed up for. The core pillars of the players' most ambitious proposal, a near doubling of the team salary cap, and a revolutionary leap to a 30% share of league revenue.
Clear, let me see this right here, that the players, you know, they was doing this whole we're on one front, you know, we're all agreed and we're all in for everything. We're on the same page. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And now it's coming out that the owners they stood their ground in this meeting, and the players are now divided.
Were not just dismissed, they were declared non-starters, inadmissible even as a basis for conversation. The plane tickets, the preparation, the weeks of public and private campaigning, all of it, in the owner's view, had been an exercise in futility if this was the summit of the players' asks. This theatrical, high-pressure summit was the culmination of months of escalating tension. The WNBA, riding what commentators have called a generational surge, fueled by the arrival of transcendent rookies like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Divided. Y'all lied. Y'all said y'all all was on the same page. Y'all said that, oh, we got this under control. Oh, what? We will not effing move. In the words of Natasha Clark, we will not effing move. We will not effing move. Well, your ass about to get moved over. Another group says that though there are still some matters to be negotiated, the players have already gained significant ground and are closer to a deal.
Shattering television ratings and sold-out arenas finds itself at a paradoxical crossroads. The league's visibility and cultural cachet have never been higher, yet its foundational economic structure, the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, governing how the fruits of this boom are shared, is buckling under the strain of newfound success. The players, witnessing the league's soaring valuation and the immense media attention, have grown increasingly vocal that their compensation has not kept pace with their contribution to this growth. They see a transformative moment and are determined.
But it's clear that some of y'all don't. It's clear. So there seems to be a real divide amongst the players here. And let's be real, am I surprised? No. Not surprised by this. We're not surprised by this. At the end of the day, these players have done everything they can to push the fans away and all of this stuff. And now, you got Nneka Ogwumike saying she has no comment on the situation.
Not to be left behind. The union, led by its executive committee and president, Nneka Ogwumike of the Los Angeles Sparks, had projected an image of unshakable solidarity for months. The rhetoric was one of unified resolve. We stand together. We won't budge. We authorize a strike if necessary. Social media hashtags and coordinated public statements painted a picture of a rank-and-file, uniformly prepared to lay it all on the line. For a new economic paradigm, they framed their demands not as mere raises, but as a necessary recalibration of the entire league's value system, a move from being mere employees to becoming true partners in the WNBA's growth story. The 30% revenue share was the symbolic heart of this ambition, a figure that would align them more closely with models in other.
Y'all thought Adam was going to bend the knee and allow the other owners to go into a $700 million hole for y'all? Absolutely not, man. Are y'all crazy? This is crazy. The WNBA and WNBPA met for 3 hours. The players, so Nneka was there, Alicia Clark was there, Brianna Turner was there. Can we please get Brianna Turner off the Indiana Fever? Please get this lady off the Indiana Fever. Steph Dolson.
Other major professional sports. Their strategy was deliberate. Apply maximum public pressure, leverage the league's moment in the sun, and force a direct confrontation with the ultimate decision makers. They specifically wanted NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in the room, viewing him as a potential sympathetic ear or a moderating force who could influence the WNBA's often criticized president, Cathy Engelbert. They believed that by going over Engelbert's head and appealing directly to the owners, many of whom, like Mark Davis of the Las Vegas Aces or Ted Leonsis of the Washington Mystics, also own NBA franchises, they could break a perceived logjam. But the owners walked into that New York City meeting with a counter-strategy of their own: absolute, unflinching resistance. The response was not a counter-proposal or a request for compromise. It was a wall. Sources described the owners as immediately shutting down the players' presentation.
Stuff maybe. So it probably was a good thing that the weather didn't allow them to get there. But, and you see, shout out to my boy Shane GT, man. We got to go live. He said WNBPA has horrible representation. Look, probably for the best fee didn't make it. She's not exactly disciplined in her messaging. So the delegation was made up of, in the grand scheme of things, nobody that has a following or even a big name, just people you would pass on in the street and not even recognize. Smart. Yeah. So that's what it is, man. But get down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think.
Making it clear that the conversation would not even begin with such figures on the table. The subtext was as clear as the spoken words. Your assessment of your leverage is fundamentally mistaken. You have overplayed your hand. The immediate aftermath of the meeting spoke volumes. Nneka Ogwumike, the union's charismatic and diplomatic president, exited the talks and offered a terse, telling no comment to waiting reporters. In the high-stakes theater of labor negotiations, silence is rarely a positive sign. When talks are productive, union leaders often emerge with carefully optimistic statements, eager to showcase momentum for their members. A no comment suggests rupture, setback, and the need to regroup in the face of a staggering setback. It was the first visible crack in the meticulously maintained facade of unity. Then, the leaks began. Almost immediately, reports surfaced from outlets like ESPN citing multiple sources that revealed a deep and potentially debilitating schism within the players' ranks. This was not merely the predictable diversity of opinion among over 140 players. This was a division at the very highest level of the union's leadership. The 7-member executive committee itself, the body authorized to call for a strike, was reportedly embroiled in a strong debate. On one side, hardliners who believed this was the historic moment to hold the line, that compromising further would mean squandering a once-in-a-lifetime chance to alter the league's financial trajectory forever. On the other, pragmatists who believed the players had already secured significant gains in the ongoing negotiations. The current offer reportedly includes potential salaries for top stars reaching $400,000, $500,000, a life-changing sum for many, and that pushing for a strike now was a dangerous gamble with the league's hard-won momentum. The translation, as coldly interpreted by the ownership side and whispered in media corridors, was stark. Some want to strike, some want to sign. The owners, these reports suggested, were acutely aware of this fracture. Their hardline stance in the meeting wasn't just principled opposition. It was a tactical maneuver designed to exploit this very weakness. By refusing to budge an inch, they were forcing the players' internal tensions to the surface, betting that the coalition would crack under the pressure of a binary, high-stakes choice. Accept a deal that is good but not revolutionary, or embark on a perilous work stoppage with no guarantee of success. This expose of internal conflict is catastrophic for the union's bargaining position. In labor negotiations, solidarity is the ultimate currency. The threat of a strike is only credible if the union can convincingly demonstrate that its members will walk out in unison and stay out, enduring financial pain for a collective future gain. The moment the other side perceives division, that some players might cross a picket line, or that the leadership is fractured, that threat evaporates. The owners, by drawing their unambiguous line, were effectively calling the union's bluff, forcing them to either put up or shut up. And the ensuing media reports suggested the players might not be able to put up as a monolithic block. The reasons for this potential fracture are rooted in the stark economic realities of being a professional women's basketball player. The WNBA salary, while rising, is for most players not a standalone fortune. Many supplement their income by playing overseas during the WNBA offseason, a grueling year-round schedule that takes a physical and personal toll. The current CBA offer, with its substantial raises, represents for the majority of the league's players, the mid-tier veterans, the role players, the end-of-bench contributors, a genuine quantum leap in financial security. For them, a guaranteed $200,000 or $300,000 could mean the ability to forego that dangerous overseas grind, to invest, to buy a home, to focus on a single season. Can this majority, for whom the deal on the table is genuinely transformative, be convinced to turn down immediate, life-altering money for the uncertain promise of a marginally better deal secured through a strike? The calculus is brutally different for the league's super elite. A player like Breanna Stewart or Aja Wilson, with seven-figure endorsement portfolios, signature shoe deals, and substantial social media followings, has a far greater financial cushion to withstand a lost season. Furthermore, some top stars like Stewart and Nafisa Collier are investors in Unrivaled, a new, player-led winter league conceived as an alternative to overseas play. A WNBA work stoppage could, perversely, benefit such ventures by freeing up star talent and fan attention. Similarly, other players have deals with leagues like Athletes Unlimited. These external economic interests create what critics call a conflict of interest, or at the very least, a divergence of priorities. The owner's gambit seems to be a bet that the rank-and-file player, staring at the most significant payday of her career, will be deeply reluctant to sacrifice it for principles championed most vigorously by those who can best afford the sacrifice. As one commentator noted pointedly, what about Sophie Cunningham? What about the mid-tier players who don't have million-dollar endorsement deals or ownership stakes in startup leagues? You think they want to turn down $400,000 to go on strike? Absolutely not. This dynamic exposes a brutal truth the owners understand all too well. The WNBPA is not negotiating from a position of uniform leverage. They are a coalition of interests with varying degrees of financial vulnerability and alternative options. The owner's refusal to entertain the players' maximum demands was a direct challenge to this coalition's cohesion. It was a move designed to shift the pressure from the negotiation table onto the union's own internal communications, forcing players to ask each other the hardest of questions. How much pain can you bear? What is your breaking point? Complicating the player's position is the complex financial landscape of the WNBA itself. The players point to meteoric rises in viewership, merchandise sales, and ticket revenue as incontrovertible evidence they are driving value and deserve a larger share. Caitlin Clark's regular season games were consistently among the most watched in league history. The league's media rights deals are up for renewal soon, with projections suggesting a massive increase. From the players' perspective, they are the product. Their talent, their personalities, their rivalries are fueling this boom. They want a share of the future they are creating, not just compensation based on the league's less profitable past. The owners, led by Engelbert and the Board of Governors, see a different spreadsheet. They acknowledge growth but emphasize that the league, after nearly 3 decades, is still on a path to sustainable profitability. Expansion fees from new teams in San Francisco and elsewhere inject capital, but that capital is immediately funneled into massive startup costs. Arena upgrades, front office staffing, marketing, and player salaries for new rosters. The costs of doing business, charter flights, a recent and expensive concession won by the players. Enhanced training facilities, marketing campaigns are all rising. They argue that plowing a disproportionate share of revenue directly into player salaries too quickly could stunt the league's long-term growth, jeopardizing investment in marketing, digital infrastructure, and global expansion that will ultimately make the pie bigger for everyone. Furthermore, the owners rejected the $10.5 million cap and 30% revenue share as economically untenable. They argue such a model would instantly push most franchises deep into the red, creating what one source called a $700 million hole. For NBA-affiliated owners, the WNBA is often seen as a long-term investment and a civic good, but it is not a blank check. They are unwilling, as one blunt commentary put it, to bend the knee and allow the other owners to go into a $700 million hole for y'all. The owner's stance is that they are building a lasting enterprise, not funding a short-term cash-out. The presence of Adam Silver in the room, initially seen by players as a potential ally, ultimately underscored this reality. Silver, the steward of the vastly wealthy NBA, is a pragmatist. His presence likely served to validate the owner's collective position rather than to advocate for the players. It signaled that the entire basketball ecosystem, from the NBA down, viewed the players' demands as a bridge too far, a risk to the financial stability of the growing league. Now, the union faces a dilemma of existential proportions. The executive committee, with Ogwumike at its head, is in what one analyst called an impossible position. They mobilized the membership around transformational goals. They raised expectations. They promised a fight, to now retreat and accept a deal that, while historically good, falls dramatically short of their publicized targets could be seen as a capitulation, potentially weakening leadership credibility for a generation. It would validate the owner's hardline tactic. Conversely, to follow through on the strike authorization is to embark on a treacherous path with no clear exit ramp. A work stoppage would immediately halt the league's unprecedented momentum. It would alienate casual fans drawn in by Clark, Reese, and others who may not have the deep loyalty to weather a labor war. It would gift the narrative to critics who frame players as greedy, jeopardizing sponsor relationships, and potentially damaging the very media rights negotiations that promised a larger future pie. It would also place an unbearable strain on the players' solidarity, as the financial pressures on those without vast outside incomes mount with each missed paycheck. The risk is not just losing a season, but fracturing the union, alienating the fan base, and derailing the league's growth trajectory for years to come, a scenario from which emerging rival leagues could potentially benefit. The ticking clock amplifies the pressure exponentially. Training camps are imminent. Preseason games are on the schedule. Sponsors and broadcast partners need certainty. Every day that passes without a deal sees the league's operational machinery grind closer to a halt, and sees players faced with the looming reality of lost income. The owners, likely believing time is on their side, can afford to wait, allowing the players' internal divisions and financial anxieties to simmer. This is where the strategic landscape now stands. In a state of precarious, volatile stalemate, the players' high-stakes gambit for a direct showdown has resulted in a resounding defeat at the bargaining table and a devastating exposure of their internal fragility. The owners have shown their hand. They believe the union's demands are unreasonable and its unity is fragile, and they are willing to risk a strike to prove it. The question that will define the next chapter of the WNBA is no longer about the specifics of revenue shares or salary caps. It is a more profound human question. What is the true depth of the players' solidarity? Can the star with the $1 million endorsement convincingly assure the journeywoman that sacrificing her $300,000 salary is for their collective good? Can the pragmatists on the executive committee and the hardliners find a common path forward that preserves both unity and the league's health? Can the union, in the face of a unified and resolute ownership group, craft a new strategy that regains the initiative? The New York meeting was meant to be a climax. Instead, it was a catalyst for a deeper, more uncertain crisis. The players sought to change the game. Now, they must fight to save their team. The coming days will be a masterclass in crisis management, internal diplomacy, and raw strategic calculus. The outcome will determine not just the next WNBA season, but the fundamental relationship between the league and its players for decades to come. The ball, as they say, is in the players' court, but the shot clock is winding down, and the defense has never been tighter.